Welcome back to another daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I am THI publisher Andrew Jones, rolling solo for you again as I dive into today's topic. Before I do that, very quick reminder that this show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. We'll have something from them a little bit later in today's drop. The topic is a very simple one. Cedric Gray needs more love. He is, I bet you if you were to poll the average Carolina football fan, say, on the defensive side of the ball, who's your favorite player? Who's the best player? Kamen Rucker will get a lot of attention now, finally. He was overlooked for a long time, but that's because he had such a huge splash in the opener against South Carolina. And let's face it, he makes really meaty plays. I mean, he makes plays that just stand out, and you're like, wow, okay. I think some people now would say Elijah Huzzy because he's exploded onto the scene like we were telling you guys all spring and summer that he would do. But Cedric Gray is so consistent. He's so steady. And quite frankly, as phenomenal as his stat line is, he does so much more to help this team and to make them a better unit. And it's one of the reasons why he's going to be a high draft pick next April in the NFL draft. So what are those things that Cedric Gray does? Well, I'll dive into that in just a second. Before I do so, let's go ahead and hear a quick word from our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy.
Yes, guys, we are so excited to be partnered with Underdog Fantasy. And we decided to partner with Underdog because it's the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and it's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry right now as well. And Underdog Fantasy has so much to offer, including their Pick'em game. And in Pick'em, you pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. It's so easy to play. Just pick 2 to 5 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. And you can 20x your money by going just 5 for 5. They also have a Best Ball Mania. If you think you know football, you need to check this one out. This year's Best Ball Mania has $15 million in total prizes up for grabs, with the winner taking home $3 million. So sign up today with the promo code HEEL, HEEL, and get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with that promo code HEAL to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. And if you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ncpgambling.org. Back to the show.
Let's do statistics first because they are eye-popping. A lot of guys with stats like this might get more attention. I still can't figure it out. I had a conversation Monday over in Chapel Hill with somebody about why don't fans know more about Cedric Gray? And some of you might be saying, oh, I know about him. I love him. He's one of my favorite players. That's you. But I look at the hits on our videos when we do interviews with him. I talked about it in a drop last week. I'm talking about we run articles on. It's not gaga traffic. Some guys get gaga traffic. He doesn't, but he should. He's one of the smartest football players I've talked to. And I've talked to, you guys should know, this is my 28th year doing this as a professional journalist. I've covered all major sports, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, a lot of NHL. Covered the Panthers for a few years down in Charlotte from here. I've been on Fox Sports, but all kinds of things. I've done a ton of stuff, guys. Major college sports this whole time, ACC this whole time, all the different schools in the area. I'm in my 10th year at THI with my focus solely being North Carolina. And Cedric Gray is one of the most interesting, smartest athletes I've talked to. He's a guy who knows the game. There's that term gym rat. We used to say that Sam Howell is a gym rat, and it was easy to see sometimes because he's a guy that chucks it. People don't think of other positions, especially non-skill positions as football, as guys that could be gym rats. But Kamen Rucker's one for sure. So is Cedric Gray. Cedric Gray is a gym rat that transfers into the film room. That's part of what being a gym rat in football is all about, the film room. Cedric's a guy that is phenomenal in the film room and takes that out into the field. Last year, led the nation with 145 tackles. Okay. This year, his tackle numbers are down in part because other guys are making plays. they're kind of spreading the wealth a little bit more at the tackles, because sometimes Cedric would get a tackle when it was the second hit. Now, sometimes the second hit's not needed. Sometimes there are more hats on the ball now for Carolina than there were a year ago. So Cedric's opportunities aren't there so much, but he is playing excellent football. And I'll give you a couple of examples. A year ago, when he was in coverage, 70% of the passes were completed, which is not bad. Some people say, oh, that's a lot. No, it's really not a whole lot. This year, it's 64%, so it's down. 9 of 14 targets have been completed for only 88 yards. No touchdowns. Last year, 14 games, it was 70%. It was 9. He was averaging a TD allowed every 4 games. It was 4 TDs allowed, so every 3.5 games. Hadn't allowed a TD yet this year. Not a dramatic difference, but there is a difference. And you're talking about a guy who was first team All ACC, who made some All America teams, and he's increased his pass coverage production. Okay. Now, his tackles are down, but let's look at his stops. If you go to PFF.com, they have a stat there called STOP, S-T-O-P. It's basically plays that result in failures for the opposing offense. Last year in 14 games, Cedric had 59 of those, averaging 4.2 a game. So far through 4 games this year, he's got 19. That's 4.8 per game. He's ahead of last year's pace, TFLs. He has already passed last year's number for sacks, and he's equaled last year's number for quarterback hurries. Again, because more people are making plays, Gene Chizik's able to do some different stuff with the defense. He's able to unleash a guy like Cedric to get after the quarterback. Cedric is a guy who can cover. He can get after the quarterback. And one of the main things that he came back to North Carolina for this year for was to become better at making his fits, at taking on blockers and making plays. And he's doing that. Watch the film. Watch him absorb blockers better. When I say absorb, I don't mean getting blocked. I mean, he can occupy a block so those pass rush lanes are still there for guys. Sometimes he doesn't get to the quarterback, but someone else can. Because if he uses up a blocker, that opens up a lane. So he's able to do that. And he's able to use up a blocker in a stressed situation. Now, the other side of this goes back to that film room again and the lead by example way that he is. Cedric Gray approaches every practice as if he can win a championship that day at practice. Every day. It's a standard that is not just permeating in the linebacker room, but it's throughout the defense and quite frankly, throughout the team. When you talk to guys on offense about Cedric, they say the same thing instantly guys on defense say. The guys who communicate with him more, the guys who are more intimately familiar with how Cedric rolls because they're on that side. They're in those rooms more. The offensive guys know it too. He is a voice that people hear and they listen to. You know, you can hear a coach yelling after a while. Those of you who have played sports before who had a supremely annoying coach who was not a great motivator, but was a yeller, you heard him yelling, but you tuned him out sometimes. Nobody in the Keenan Football Center tunes out Cedric Gray because when he speaks, there is a lot of value behind what he has to say. When he gets his group together before going on the field and tells them it's time to get a stop, they are infused in a way like not a lot of defenses have been by Carolina defensive leaders in recent years. He said his mentor was Jeremiah Gemmel, and Jeremiah was really good at it, but Jeremiah had more straggling pieces around. Cedric's in a better situation now because they're better at defensive coordinator. They're better at the position coaches on defense, and there's more talent and there's more experience around him. Sometimes experienced guys can't be led because they think they know it all. And I think maybe the most impressive thing about Cedric Gray is he's got a bunch of college graduates on defense. He's got a bunch of very experienced dudes, and they don't think twice about listening to him. It's not like he's got a bunch of pups that are looking up and say, whatever you say, Mr. Experienced All ACC guy. It's a bunch of dudes that are following a big-time dude, a supreme dude. Cedric Gray's that guy. Carolina fans need to show him some more love. They need to embrace how good this guy is. He's going to play in the NFL, going to be in the league for a long time. A general manager is whoever he plays for is going to love him. He's going to kill it in the interviews. He's going to kill it in the combine. And I wouldn't say he's a self-made guy because he has a lot of natural talent, but he was overlooked. He was not a supremely highly recruited guy. A lot of schools looked at him as a wide receiver instead. But he's made himself a damn good linebacker. He's made himself a damn good leader. He's made himself a damn good teammate. And he's somebody that North Carolina fans need to cherish having around more because you only got him for another 8 more regular season games or whatever happens after. That's it. Then he's gone. He's going to be really hard to replace. So give Cedric some love. Thanks again to Underdog Fantasy for supporting the daily drops and some of our other programs here at THI. They will be with us through the college football season. If you like this video and you think Cedric Gray is a guy that needs a lot more love, go ahead and click like and show him that love. Share the video. Tell people to watch it and show Cedric more love because he is absolutely worthy of it. Go ahead and sign up. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you get updates every time we upload it. Don't forget, guys, if you really want to be a Carolina insider, go on over to TarHeelIllustrated.com. It's just $8.33 a month, and you can be an insider too and hang out with an awesome community of passionate Tar Heel fans just like you. I'm AJ, and I'll see you tomorrow.